And welcome to another edition of Vintage Views. I'm Tony Brennan, bringing you Union County's monthly show discussing issues and services for seniors. Vintage Views continues to address important issues impacting our senior community through their golden years. For more information on some of the county's government news items we discuss here on Vintage Views, you can always call the Union County Division on Aging at 1-888-280-8226 or call the county's information line at 1-877-424-1234. And if you're connected via the internet, you can always contact or go to the Union County website at www.ucnj.org. 4.5 years ago, when I had the honor of beginning to host Vintage Views, one of my first guests was the Director of the Division of Aging of Union County, Fran Benson, and I'm delighted to have Fran back. 4.5 years later, it's good to see you.
That's right, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Fran, for our viewers who don't remember or who don't know you, tell us about Fran Benson.
Well, I've been in the field of aging for about 26 years, but I've been the Director of the Division for the past 11. Prior to that, I had a corporate career, but that really wasn't my thing. Once I started dealing with the aged, I really loved it, and I've been in Union County actually 27 years.
Wow.
And I started out doing an elder abuse program and then just progressed from there. So I have a lot of hands-on experience, and I'm very grateful for that, and I had wonderful mentors.
Like Ann Barron?
Ann Barron, absolutely, and Phil Perlman, going back, is who hired me, and then Susan Jasnoff, and here I am.
And you, of course, remember my predecessor doing the show, Bob Klein, very well, too.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that goes, as I said, that goes way, way back now. The Division on Aging is part of the County Department of Human Services.
Correct.
But when we talk about the Division on Aging, we're really talking about services from A to Z, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Let's start and work our way down.
Okay. Division on Aging, as you know, we provide some direct services. One of the important services is information and assistance, and that number you gave before is how people can reach us. That number will hook people up with whatever kind of service they should need, but they'll go through an interview of sorts to really so that we can get them to the right spot. We also do outreach, and we got into the community to find folks that maybe won't find us, because that's an important thing to let the community know that we exist and we're there to help them. And we also have some staff that will go into your home should you not be able to get to us or be able to complete a pharmacy assistance form. They can go into your home and help you do that. And we don't do a lot of that, but we absolutely do it. And of course, we run our food program, our Congregate 25 sites that are run out of the Division on Aging. So that's one of our direct services. And our newest direct service is patient coaching under a care transitions program. We happen to be at Rollway Hospital, but we're part of a 6-hospital, 3-county group. We're very lucky to be part of this, and fortunate. And they literally go in the hospital, and the goal is to cut down on readmissions. But the services that we contract for, and that's what really people want, home delivered meals. And we do about 1,000 meals a day in this county.
Now, when we talk about in the county, we're talking about all 21 municipalities throughout Union County.
Absolutely. Everything that I'm talking about is available to everybody in the county, no matter where they live, which municipality. And that's an important point. When we contract with agencies, we have to ensure that everyone is covered in that contract.
Okay. And we talk also about links to senior citizen housing, for example. And I know in a number of municipalities, there are housing complexes, apartment towers that are dedicated just for senior residences.
Absolutely. Now, you know, we certainly have relationships with housing, and we do have nutrition sites in a number of them. We do get notified by them when they're accepting applications. What we don't have is we don't have pull or power over them. That would be wonderful, but we work well with them, and it affords everyone an opportunity to just get to know more about what's out there in terms of housing. It's tough. We need a lot more housing. And we all know that.
Part of your job, as you said before, is outreach. So I assume that you go out, you reach out to senior citizen centers throughout Union County.
Absolutely. Clubs, AARP clubs, and Foreign Legion, not the Foreign Legion. Do we still have the Foreign Legion?
I believe we do.
But any club, and generally the clubs will come to us and they will ask us, and the senior centers. So we go out there, and more often than not, we find folks that didn't know we existed, do need some help with something, and we can help them then.
And you also find that there are a number of veterans organizations throughout Union County too, and a lot of our veterans, especially from now the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and God bless those of us who left from World War II, they may not know some of these services exist.
Absolutely. And so it's important to reach everybody out there. Now we do have an office for veterans in Union County, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of discussions going back and forth between that staff and our staff, because the needs are very much the same as for any other person that's getting older. And then there are some things, and I'm not an expert in the vet area, but there certainly are programs out there for vets, specifically for them, especially in terms of there's some home care services that they can avail themselves to. The veterans, the VA homes, if you can no longer live home, the one we have in Menlo Park is an excellent facility. And for those folks that may have trouble paying for their nursing home care, this is a way that they can get there.
When we talk about outreach, it's not only now you're based out of the county administration.
Yes, in Elizabeth.
But yet there also is an annex out in Westfield too, isn't there?
There is, but we don't base ourselves there, but we'll go anywhere. We do cover every county. We contract with the Plainfield Senior Center, so we're there at different times, but we'll go anywhere. But we don't have a satellite office, if that's what you meant.
Okay. What links do you have to helping seniors with transportation issues around the county?
Well, we contract, we do give some money to our paratransit office, and they run that program. And so, of course, we do education and referral over to them. But we give some Older Americans Act funding to them, and I try to keep boosting that up because transportation dollars have really shrunk over the years. And then we have money, state money, under the Safe Housing Program where we can contract for assisted transportation. It's minimal, but we do it. It's a very important service. So if you can't get to the curb to take that paratransit van and you really need to get somewhere medically, they can give you a ride. Some of them are put actually into, gurneys and taken out. But like I said, that's a service I would love to see grow, but it's an expensive service.
I noticed another thing with transportation for those of our senior population that can get around on their own, that like to take mass transit as far as rail is concerned, that tickets offered by New Jersey Transit are half price as opposed to what their regular fees are for our senior population.
And we have those books people can apply for that in our office, so they should know that.
What else is there about the Division on Aging that our senior population who are watching this should know about your office?
What they really should know is that we can link folks up with the services they need, especially caregivers. If you're providing care for a spouse or a parent, we can hook you up with services to relieve you of your day-to-day. For example, home health care. You may need someone to come in and do some personal care for that person, and it will also allow you to get out of the house for a few hours. A lot of people won't leave, but at least you can go take a breather for a while. Home health care, inpatient care, adult daycare. We can help people with adult daycare so that their loved one can be in a safe environment. So you're working, no one's home during the day, it's economical. It's less expensive than having a home health aide in there all the time. Legal services. People may be facing, believe it or not, older people do face eviction. They do have problems with foreclosure. And we do have legal services out there that can help advocate for those folks. In addition, they will, some of the, for your Medicare, if you're having a problem with Medicare, and it's an issue that legally may have to be addressed, they'll take that on as well.
That's a very important thing to know going back to the assisted care, because people in my age group, late 50s approaching 60, who are taking care of elderly parents. And in my own case, thank God, my mother not only is still 100%, she goes to work every day, and I mean, she's just a wonderful, wonderful individual. Matter of fact, she outdoes me in a lot of ways. But people who I know are friends of mine, even older than me, that have elderly parents, that have assumed and want to do primary care for their parents and give to them what their parents gave to them growing up, it can be kind of difficult. And to have that assisted living or that assisted care where they can get out for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours on their own, is very important.
Yeah, it's very important that we know that older folks, your mom, my parents, everyone else's parents, most people want to stay home. They don't want to go into a nursing facility. That's what we're all about. Providing services for the person, even if they're alone, to be able to live home. And the other is to provide that caregiver with the resources to allow themselves to be caregivers in an environment that they would like their loved one and the person wants to be as well.
Good for sure. We'll take a break at this point to come back with more on this edition of Vintage Views right after this.
Dad's home!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
And welcome back to Vintage Views. I'm Tony Brennan, and my guest for this program is the Director of the Union County Division on Aging, Fran Benson. Fran, there is an act federally called the Older Americans Act. Let's talk about that and how that really applies to our senior population.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. The Older Americans Act is celebrating its 50th birthday this year, and it is a national law, as you said. It is really our bread and butter. It's why we exist. Their mission, our mission, is the same one, which is to keep older adults in the communities living with dignity and independence. The Older Americans Act has many titles. C1 is our congregate meal money. C2 is our home delivered meals. And then all those other services I spoke about are under Title 3B. And then the newest, which is already 10 years old, is Title 3E, which is the caregiver money. It really gave us a lot of extra funding to provide services, to provide respite to folks out there. We even have some money to do care management for grandparents raising grandchildren. That's all under the Older Americans Act. It is up for reauthorization. I have to say this. It is overdue by 4 years. We're hoping that this will be the year it is reauthorized.
Well, a little bit of historical trivia on that, because Medicare and Medicaid was included under that as well. That law was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson in Independence, Missouri, and the first one to get his Medicaid card. Matter of fact, there were two of them, Harry and Bess Truman, on that day. And matter of fact, there are some photographs which people can find on the internet today President Johnson signing the bill, and who's sitting right next to him but former President Truman. And Mrs. Truman is standing there watching with a big smile on her face.
That's great. And it's just such a beautiful act. Along with Medicare and Medicaid, those programs are so important for our existence, old people and others. But the act is just a beautiful piece of legislation. It's probably why I do what I do, because I have such respect for it and what it brings to the table for folks. And the fact that there are requirements that the states step up, and they certainly do in New Jersey, we do, and at the local level. And in Union County, we are very fortunate that we are very strongly supported by our county freeholders at the local level. So I'm proud to say this, that we've never had a waiting list for a home-delivered meal in this county, and that's not the way it is all over New Jersey. And a lot of that is because the way it's designed, the act, that it says to people, you need to bring something forward.
Now, consistency with the Freeholder Board for all of these many, many years has been quality of life, whether it's for the young at heart, of course, our senior population too. No matter who has been on the Freeholder Board, they have all been very cognizant of that and very attentive toward making sure our senior population has the best care and the best resources for those who are independent and want to do things on their own, but yet require a little bit of help in various things.
Absolutely. You know, and programs that we have seen go by the wayside, where we've seen the funding go away, they have stepped up, and I'm very proud of that.
Now, if there is something called an elder care locator, what is that?
Okay. The elder care locator, so say your mother lived in California, or your uncle lived in Missouri, or Alaska, and they needed services and they needed help. They could reach an office like mine anywhere in the United States. And you call the elder care locator number, and they will give you that particular office on aging that you need to hook up with. So it's really, it's a great thing. It can make life much easier for caregivers that are long distance from their loved ones, how to reach out to find services out there. So that's the elder care locator. It's funded through the Administration on Aging.
But it's all 50 states then, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
There is something called the State Respite Program that our seniors can take advantage of. What is that?
State Respite Program was supposed to be a federal program. It was introduced by Bill Bradley at that time, and New Jersey was the pilot. And really is a caregiver-focused program to give them respite. The program didn't take off federally, but I want to say that New Jersey decided they would totally fund it. And they have been funding it now, gosh, for probably well over 20-something years. Through the respite program, folks can get daycare for their loved ones. They can receive home care services, meals, inpatient care if they need it. And that's basically the services that we do provide, along with homemaker service too, because not everyone needs a bath.
Right.
But they need a little help with a little meal and whatnot. And we're happy to say, really, we're allowed to, it gives us the opportunity to serve a lot more people.
In our remaining few minutes, the JACC program, what is that?
The JACC Program, we
JACC
call it.
yes.
Yeah, it's a state-funded program as well, and it's focused towards caregiver relief. And it's kind of like the Medicare waiver programs where you would get services and then you care manage those folks. There's not quite as much service as if you were on Medicaid, and the eligibility is a little bit higher too, so it can serve more caregivers. But that is a program too to provide relief.
One of the things I always open with and close with on this program is about the county's website at www.ucnj.org. And they can access the County Department of Human Services, and through that, the Division on Aging.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because on there you can access our resource directory, all the services throughout the county. But not only that, we have very important links on there. So if you want to go in there and look up something on Medicare, you have a question, it'll hook you up. It'll link you with Medicare. There's a caregiver linkage. They're just all there, Social Security. It's a very, very helpful tool, and we know that us boomers,
Right.
we're going on the web and we're looking for services that way.
Right.
And the information is in fact there if they need it.
That is absolutely wonderful. Fran, it has been a delight to have you on the program again. 4.5 years.
Wow.
We can't wait that long before that we do it again, because
Absolutely.
this is an educational program, and we gave our seniors some really good information today. Thanks a lot for coming
And
out.
thank you for having me today.
And for more information on some of the county's government news items we discuss here on Vintage Views, as I said before, you can always call the Union County Division on Aging at 1-888-280-8226, or call the county's information line at 1-877-424-1234. And remember, if you are connected via the internet, you can always visit the Union County website at www.ucnj.org. And that will do it for this edition of Vintage Views. For all of us, I'm Tony Brennan. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.